Okay, so like I said, we're all welcome to tonight's class, and we have a lot of things to catch up on tonight. And I want us to be attentive and we also be inquisitive to ask questions along the track of the line. So probably by the next class that we'll be doing, I and the tutor will be able to have enough time to narrow down how we are going to split ourselves to be able to get something much better. So, but please, let's be attentive and let's ask questions. I will start from where our instructor stopped last class. So I will start from where she stopped last class for us to see. So this one may be an eye opening to some of us that we are already used to data analysis, and will also be okay. Will be eye opening to people that are new to data analysis, and it will be an advantage to people that are already in data analysis. That at least you know one or two in data analysis. I gave us assignments last class. I think I only have few people that submit that assignment. Let me check it. So, I shall know I saw the one for Fikayo. The last time I checked that, okay, it was only Fikayo that I saw the assignment. So the rest of all the assignments. It was just because I was physically heavy that last week. So that's why I did not tend to portray and work on it. But please and please, our self assignment is just for us to prepare ahead and for us to cover minds. Hello, can we? This network is fluctuating. I don't know why. But only God knows which network is not good in this country now. Swapping between MTN and Airtel and still having this particular issue. But can you all hear me now? Yes, it was network that actually caused it. So we are back on track. Yeah. Like I was saying, I said it was only one person that submitted the last assignment, and let me quickly review that one in this class. So before I jump into what we have for today, so the assignment that I gave in last class was different based on the group. So the assignment I gave us last class, all of us are still going to do it. All of us are still going to do it. But I will look for a time to address that one. So the only person that submitted the assignment was this. Yeah, I guess yeah. We pick Canada as a single country. Can we also, okay, sorry, I'm not yet sharing this. And can we all see my screen now? Okay. The person that did the assignment, I think the person picked Canada. taking into conversant look of uh, four variables over here with the gap of 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the track of the day. But that is fine. Don't let me buttress for you. So let me quickly dabble into things. So last class, our tutor were able to take us different things on data and how um, we can different type of data, and she also went to take something more about Excel. So I would like to make us to start tonight from Excel and see something while I will dabble into the assignment that I also gave him to us so that we'll be able to see some picture. So if you are new to that analysis, don't worry, I'll balance the teaching for tonight so that every one of us will be on the same page. You will grab as we are going through the process. So you just have to be attentive. What we want to do tonight is not something uh, arctic that somebody that is not even into data analysis cannot know. We just want to collaborate around things that, that serve as basics for data analysis. So, but I want you to be attentive to the maximum level so that you'll be able to grab everything that because that is where the foundation is. So, and like I told us the last class also, and your tutor also told us, the Excel serves as the background for any data analysis that you want to use. So your own Excel may not look like this. I believe you can also see my screen. Let me check it on phone. Okay. So along the line, if your phone is looking small or tiny for whatever you want, you can use your hand to spread your screen. So it will expand from your own end to be able to zoom or zoom in. So for some of us that we are new to using Excel, Excel is being used in various categories, not only in data analysis. Because business also use Excel for some of the data entry, and different schools, different individuals use for Excel for data entries to keep informations because it has a maximum space. It has a lot of rows and a lot of columns that you can relate with, which comes together to form different type of cells that you can keep information within. So the another advantage that it has apart from the data entering and the likes is that you can quickly make your visual element in form of a graph, bar chart, and the likes on uh, Excel, just like other softwares, and it's very easy to use. That's why majority class on data analysis to start from that end. So if you open your Excel for the first time, it's because I'm currently on Mac. That's why it's showing this way. But if you are on window, it will also be similar. Let's just go for a blank worksheet. I believe by now you guys supposed to have your system in front of you. If you don't have your system with you currently, just be noting things down. Probably you can also try to screenshot your screen so that you can relate with them later on. And I pray this recording works well, so it can be made available to us also after the class for us to go through it again. So um, so for Excel, this is how the interfaces will look like. Like you see here, you can see different uh, the top part that we have over here, which is having the alphabet and like is what we refer to as a column. So this is a column, this is a column, this is a column, this is a column. You can have it up to like that, like that. There's a maximum value for it. You can find that one out by searching online. I can't quickly recollect. So we also have all this one, which is a row. So intersection of a column and a row forms what we refer to as a cell. This is a cell. I'm coming so that it will be more interactive. Let me get my sketch pad. I believe you can still hear me. So what I was trying to say is all these are column while all these side are rows. So but intersection of that column with the row is what gives us what we refer to as set. As set. So I want something. Sorry, I was going right. So let me put this. So that is basically what I'm just saying. The intersection of your row and your column is what form the set. So that is basically about that one. So but let me quickly show us some of the thing over here that will also relate with like our tutor has explained in last class. Over here in the home section, we have a lot of elements that we'll later deal with. But the only one that is crucial for us in this class for tonight is from this angle where you do your fonts and your alignment. So your fonts, whether it's bold, italics, underline, the type of font that you're using, like area, some of us that we use Word documents before, uh, like area, Calibri, Time New Romans, and the likes. The font size of that element, that is where you get this one from. So I don't need to waste time. These are what you see on Microsoft Word on normal regular day. This alignment is the position of each of your elements within your cells. For example, let's say on my cell I have something like 15. If you notice from here, I have it because it's a number, it will always fall to the right hand side. Assuming it's alphabet, it will not come to that side. You can see that it's as alphabet. In data analysis, we do used to have different forms of data that we relate with. So our data can be in form of a string. When we talk in terms of a string, I'm talking in terms of data analysis generally. We are talking in terms of alphabet. So our data can also be in form of a number, which is our normal numeric 1 to whatever number that you are saying. We can also have our data in form of alphanumeric, or we can have it also as a symbol. So we have different type of data, but the major one that is majorly being used is these two guys, which is your string and your number. So what I'm saying now is that whenever you enter your number inside your cell, you always find this that it's flush to the right hand side, making it a number. And for you to know, anything that is in form of a number is what will go into your mathematical calculation. But anything that is your string, which is your alphabet this way, will never undergo anything that deals with calculation. So please note all those ones. So that when you import data, because there are some levels when we get to analysis proper that you have to be relating with. Because when we are working with real life scenario or probably a research scenario, it will be that you are sourcing for data. These are approach that we use in data analysis. You clean the data. Uh, what else do we have before analyzing? Okay, we source for data, we clean the data, we analyze the data, we present in terms of visual, and you discuss and propose, sorry, propose solution. So these are major steps that we all this is to take in terms of data analysis. So sourcing for data, we'll be able to touch a bit of this tonight. I'm seeing how God will help us to manage our time tonight to be able to touch. But I want us to get some concepts right on the exam. So I'm coming back to this. So like I was saying, so we have different alignments here, which can have said, do you want it to be in the middle? It's just arrangement of whatever be your data that you're dealing with, center and the likes. So that's about that one. So another thing that we have over here is text wrap. Most of us will know what text wrap is. Text wrap is just taking all your text within a particular column. You can also use this on Microsoft Word. It's only as that it is. Text wrap means that your text should not span outside your box. It will only form within that box. The only thing to be doing if your text is more than your box is that it will be expanding along the track of the line. So that's that one about that one. Another one that we have over here is where you determine your data that is coming in. Because when you get under this guy, which is your data cleaning, you will need that one more crucially to know whether your data is numeric or your number is a string. Determine what your decision want to be around it. That's part of what you have to do. Here, that's when you can get different type of data that Excel can process over time. Because when you are doing your normal calculation, these are different type of data that Excel will relate with. So you can have it in form of a number, you can have it in form of a currency, probably like pounds, like dollar. You can have it in form of a accounting parameters, probably that is money, which is in finance. You can have it in form of a date. Probably you are measuring a duration to another duration. You can have it in form of a time, percentage, fraction, scientific. Scientific is just like some of us that were in science that we used to do E times 10, uh, or we say E3. E3 may be 10 raised to power 3 and the likes. So these are some of the short form that science people use to relate with normal calculation. So we can have it in form of a text, which is a string and the likes. We have special one, probably that you configure yourself. We have custom, different options that we can relate with here in form of our data. So these other things that are here is just the arrangement, what you want, how you want to format that your text that you're dealing with. So let me just quickly do one simple thing over here before we leave this perspective. Let's assume I have some data over here. I said, let me just say finance, and I have something like 350, 570. I'm saying, let me just pick random number. Don't mind me. Sorry. Okay. I'm just trying to input some variables just as my data that I can relate with. So just to show us some of the things I want. Okay. So let me just do this one. The question. This. That's 100. Don't worry. All this thing that I'm doing, I will explain later. I just want to get data out of here. Yeah. So these are some data that point out from that place. So for my finance, I like always to always for this. So For my finance, I can just come around and turn these guys into form of currency. I'm relating with different data approach that Excel have in place. So I might want to make this one currency, and based on the fact the last time I used it, I used Naira to relate with it. That's why it's printing Naira here. But for me to modify this based on what I want, I can click this drop down and go for more number format. So under that place, under the currency, I can select which of the currency am I dealing with, depending on which currency am I relating with over here. So let's assume I'm relating with US dollar. So I can quickly pick this one. And to what decimal point should I have it, in case probably I have something like decimal fraction in my, so I can pick it either to 2, or probably I don't want any decimal, and I press OK. So if there's even decimal on any one before, it will round it up the value. That's what that one does. And you can also check for other parameters that we have over here. Probably you can check for if you have a time, uh, date, and the likes. Like this particular one that I did manually here, that I get 0 point value before, I may as well quickly do that one in the form of a percentage over here to quickly get my value in terms of a percentage. So instead of having it as a decimal fraction, I can quickly get it in form of a percentage and the likes. So that is that about all this area that I have. Another area that I want to quickly deal with, where I want you to pay attention, because that's one of the things at this transit that you most of you guys will be relating with, is under our area of summi um, formula. So under this section here, we have formula section, which they put here to be auto sum, and we have other classes under it. Don't mind what is there. This one are just for you to format your Excel sheet, probably to make it look good, to insert new cell, to delete, and to format whatever your cell look like. That one you can be playing around that one with yourself by yourself. So we have different calculation formula that we have over here, and we are going to check some of them tonight, so that by the time we are relating with them in a real times data analysis, you know what they all stand for, what they mean along the track of the line. So I will deal with some of them tonight and show us what they mean and how you use them in discussion. So we also have different one over here. Okay, this sort is one life-saving element that is on Microsoft package, because you can quickly search through multiple data sets that you have and quickly modify a single information from your data set. What I mean by that one is this. For example, now, okay, this one is to sort in terms of arrange. I mean, in terms of the find and replace. For now, I want to look for. I think I have a name twice here. Tolu twice here. I can quickly find Tolu and replace Tolu with another details within all my data sheet, no matter how voluminous my data is. So I can first look for it to find Tolu. Uh, okay, I have it to be Tolu. So within the sheet, search by row. Okay, match case, find entirely set only. Microsoft Excel cannot find data you are searching for. It's checking over data. Okay, why is it not finding it? We have a problem. Let me copy this particular Tolu and let's check. Why is it not finding the Tolu? Does Tolu offended this? Uh, okay. Okay. I think probably I'm putting space somewhere before. So that's why it's not identifying it. So we can also see now that I can find where Tolu is. Check where my how my cursor is moving. So you can check it, and I can replace all this Tolu with let me say Victor. So I can either replace or replace that particular one. So if I replace all, every of my Tolu will change to Victor. So it's notifying me that I have to replace notify. So what we do with this one is, even on Microsoft Word, that's what we do. For example, now let me just make it an illustration. As a researcher, you are working on your uh, and what is it called? Your journal paper, or you are working on your um, project research paper, and you find out that you have been using American English. For example, now the one that is very common is like organization, that people will put Z. Another one is like favor. Favor in the sense that some people will put only OR. But you are writing that paper in form of for them to acknowledge that you are using British English. So instead of me to now be going looking for everywhere I wrote organization to be Z, I don't need to be doing that one. I can quickly come over here and search for the one with Z and replace it with S. So that's what that one just simply means in the real sense. So you can quickly replace any information within your data set without stressing and disturbing yourself. So that's what this particular guy work about. So back to our formula. Like I said, we have tons of formulas. Immediately I click on this more function, it will go. We can see some of them here. We have some. Can we all see this part very well? I can't zoom in, but you can zoom in from the end. So we have sum. So sum is just uh, your A plus B, or whatever you want to sum, or plus, let me say C plus dot 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 to N. So we have our average. You know what average is on normal day. Your average is your total number. Let's say total sum of number all over frequency, total frequency. So what this one implies is, if I want to find average of all these math score that is here, is to first sum all this one up. It will now divide it by how many values did I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it will divide it by 14. So let's assume now I want to find my average of this course that we have over here. I can manually come over here and click on my average. It's selecting this because it's locating all the number that we have over there, because this number, I told you already that we can't calculate or do any mathematical calculation with string, which is text. So by me clicking on this, we can quickly get, just press enter. You're already seeing the column and row range that we are dealing with. Column here is saying D row 5 to D row what 18. So that's my data. If I press OK, it's telling me that the average score that I have over here is 55. Let's assume I'm dealing with 100 students and I want to get what is the average score. What is the maximum score? Who scored the highest? Who scored the lowest? What is the average score of the class? I can quickly depict it. Even if they are 200, they are 300. So far the score is already entered into the data sheet. So another thing, okay, let me put it in front of this one for us to get it. This average. So let's assume we want to buttress it further. Let's say we want to get the lowest value, the minimum value, probably the minimum score. Minimum score. So I can quickly go over here. But all this one you are going over here, you can quickly type it yourself and I will show us that one. I can click minimum of all this data here and I press OK. It's showing me that the least score that I have over is 4.7, which is here. That is the lowest score. And the maximum score that I have over here is what? So I can go over here. Not some, we will need maximum. Sorry. So we need max. I can press OK. So our maximum score is 95, which is this particular score over here. I believe we are all getting what I'm explaining. Because this is part of what you guys will play around for your next uh, assignments that will be given. Though it might be a little bit complex compared to this, but this, when you understand the basic, you'll be able to know what you want to deal with in terms of the data sheet. So we have different tons of them here that you can relate with. We have condition statements. If, for example, now we used to do some analysis that we said if is it is even number, it should process it. If it's positive number, it should process it. All those blah 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 and the likes. So we also have other some like hyperlink, count. I don't used to use this hyperlink. Count is just to know the number of frequency within your workspace. We have the sign, we have some if it meets this condition. We have standard deviation, we have the absolute, we have different of them. You can check it over here and you can work with them. These are just normal statistic formula that we do use to relate with. We might not be able to touch all of them in the class, but at least we touch some basic one. You yourself can go and relate with um the other ones yourself, just checking through. Because one of the thing I noticed over this thing is that it varies based on your field of study. What finance people is using as their own formula for calculation is different from what engineering is looking for on this essay, and it's different from what business owner is looking for their own particular business also. So depending on your field of study will justify which of these formula do you need. And you can also create your own formula on Excel. Probably is not available on Excel, you can create your new one. Some of you guys that you do mathematics and statistics, you know this one: Poisson, nominal, gamma. We have a lot of them. This one used in mathematics and statistics. But we are not here tonight to be boring us with most of these things. So like I said the other time, all this particular one you can also type it yourself. For example, now let's assume I want to, what else can we look for over here? Let's oh uh, let's check the let's subtract the maximum from the minimum. Okay, let's subtract the minimum score from the maximum score to know the gap difference between the best brilliant students in the class and the average students in the class. So for us to know, okay, somebody said median. Let's check for median. So I said we can type it manually ourselves. So I can say equals to any formula that you want to type yourself. You first have to put the sign equals to. If you do not put any form of sign equals to and you just type, it will still be that same statement that you type inside it. But when you put your equals to, by the time you first start typing, it will bring options of those formula out for you that you can relate with. So either I type it complete or I come and select my median over here. See the same way. So it's not asking me for which range did I want to get the media from. So I can select my first uh, over here, and it's asking for the second number, third number, fourth number, assuming the, but now I have 14 number that I want to select within that range. What I just have to do is hold my shift and select last number. So it will select all those numbers within the range, and I can close my bracket and press OK. So the median score over here is 58. Median median value is not the same thing as average. So let's clarify that one right. What we mean by median in, because you as a data analysis, apart from the fact that you can press button on Excel or whatever software they're using, you have to understand. Sorry, let me quickly message this person that is calling me so that they will not cut me off this class. So what media entails is I have my numbers to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 5, 7, 6. Before I can get median number out of this, I will not just say because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will not count 1, 2, 3, 4. I will count 1, 2, 3, 4. I will not pick 7. No. How median works is you have to arrange this one either in ascending order or descending order based on probably how increasing they are or how decreasing they are. That is part of where data cleaning comes in your data analysis. So you have to clean this one in terms of order of increasing. Probably I now label it in 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 7. Oh, sorry, we have 6 before them. 6, 7, 7, and 10. So now I can now count it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another 1, 2, 3, 4. I can now say 5 is my median, which is my median value. But when we are talking of average, average means that I don't even have to arrange it, but I just have to add all these guys together, the sum of all these guys, divided by how many frequency that I have here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the total sum of this divided by 9. So what I'm saying by that one is this. Sorry, let me use inside to write down. That would be, this is 1 plus 2, that is 3, plus 3, that is 6, plus 5, 11, plus 7, that is 18, plus 10, that is 28, plus 5, that is 33. This will be 40, that is 46. So definitely our average now will be 46 all over 9. So the value that this one will give you is your average, while your median is being selected down. So we all know what median and average means invariably with that one. So that is a basic calculation that you cannot do on this end. But let's now quickly swap into on this tab over here on the top part here. So I will skip this insert, draw, page layout. I'll go to formula just to show us something. So we have under formula, you can see additional different formulas that we have. Like I told you the other time, formulas are based on different field of study that you have. Different field of study. So you can have people, you can see that it's only putting this particular guy, which is this autosum over there that we can relate with. We also have different formula that are being used in finance that different accountants used to use for their calculation. They are the one that know what all this one is. But I think I used to use some in some of the one analysis that I used to do for some accounting student like that. So we also have logic. Logic is just like your and, if, false, or not. So let's quickly engage ourselves. This logic formula, all of us are used with it. And why I say we are used with it is you are, even if you are not being taught, if you are not a mathematics or science student, they have taught you in computer, probably your secondary school or primary school computer. Uh, there's difference between, where's that guy? Let me bring this guy up. There's difference between or and not. If these are logical operation, let me look for more here and let's see our different opinion around it. Okay, let's use boolean, the true, false. So I'll call people randomly. Just pick one out of all these and you explain for us. How do I pick it? I want these guys to come in. Okay. Okay, Aremu Oluwatobi. I can see your hands up. Aremu Oluwatobi, do you want to answer our question here or which part do you belong to? And thank God is a mistake. God wants it to be mistake so that you'll be able to answer question. So which one are you picking out of all those ones? Is a Remutobi there. Oh. So which one are you picking here? Oh, so what does all means to you in terms of being logic? Just explain your own terms. Okay, okay. So if for some of us that may not understand where it's coming from in terms of the bullying uh, parameter that you use, what the all is just telling us is either you consider my first condition or you consider my second condition. Meaning, if this guy is true, probably for example now, I'm looking into a data sheet probably in a column range or row range, and I'm saying look for A or B and return the value. You'll have enjoyed this most if it's in a code basis. Probably you are writing code for most of these things. Some of you guys you are dealing with advanced data analysis. So what I'm trying to now say is, if you look for A and you find 3A, which is true, or look for B, probably you now find B also, which is true. So definitely I'm expecting 5 values to be returned. But let's now assume he searched, he did not find any A, but when he was searching through, he find 4 Bs, meaning that I'm expecting how many value? 4 Bs. So that is what or stand for. Or is giving a condition that even if you did not find the first one, the second one you can find it. Meaning, if the first one, if any of the two is true, your answer will definitely also be what? It will be true. But if the two end is now false, that's when you can get your answer to be false. Meaning, one of the side is true, the answer will still be true. Both of the side is false, that is only where you can have your answer to be false. So that is what that one justify for us. So let's have somebody else to help us speak to. Probably we'll discuss two and we'll go. So because I know Nigerian people, until when you call their name before they know that you are the one they are dealing with. Who is Okwade gift? Okwade gift, we are calling you. That's number second person. Let me sorry look for the third person. Peter Adewale, that's number 3. So two of you pick a option from here and explain. God abeg. If okay, so what is happening to you? Just use your normal English. Okay. So that is most of these things that we are seeing under logic operation, they are okay. Somebody is raising up here. Who is that? Okay, Olupeka, I'm coming. So what we see under logic operation is just our normal regular English. What this if operation is doing in your the data is anywhere you are using it, it's telling us that if means that you are putting a condition that only if they meet whatever you want to put after that if, that's when you can certify that operation to be true. For example, now I'm stating that ah I want to clean this thing. Sorry, I'm not using a proper sketch pad. I just use this one as mini drawing board. I'm supposed to be able to clean, but I don't think this guy is giving me advantage to. Okay. Uh, okay. We'll be doing that one later. So what I'm trying to say is, if I said, sorry, I will clean this. If I said if a equals to even number, return. This one is under advanced people that are dealing with code in data analysis, but I'm just using to explain to us. Return a s. This is also another logic option. S return error. When you enter coding, you understand. We don't know how to speak English, but we know how to write English whenever we are doing that one. So what this one is telling us is, if probably I'm checking from the data within a row or a column, if my a is even number, probably you find 2, you find 4, 6, like that, it should return the value of that a for me. But if this my condition is not met, probably is now seeing odd number, what am I telling the data to do? The data should what? It should return error. And for you to know how this thing work on the back end, some of you guys will later in future or probably in closer future to go and do data science. Probably when you've mastered data analysis very well. Under data science, these are guys that work on the back end, especially in web development or software development. Sometimes you guys will have enter some details when you are filling form. I'm just diversifying into using that one to explain something to us now. These are logic that is also being used in that end. That you enter some parameters into some box and it will tell you, it will return back to you that error or probably some information is not correct. So what this one entails is, for example, now they've already programmed a box which is having a phone number in front of it. This is the box that you want to fill. The person that programmed this at the back end says, if variable that the person enter is number, it should accept it. But if it's not number and it's a string, it should return error. That's why when you now want to press the final submission of your form, it will bring the alert error for you. Because what the person has already programmed on it is, if the input, which is A, which is your phone number that you're entering, is number, it should return that number that you input over here. But if it's not that number, it should return what? Error. Or probably the person may say, if the range of this a is 11, which is the normal size of number, it should return that 11 digit that you enter. But if it's not 11, it should return what? Error. So that is when you now find that it's not entering the same. So that is just mechanism of. So I've used that one to explain the if and else. If means that you are putting a condition that must be met. Else means that if the condition is not being met, it should look for other things to relate with. So who is our second person that I called? Okay, okay, let's hear the second person first. I think we still have Anne, we have True, we have Force. Who is that person? No, I think Peter something that I called. Peter Adewale, are you on the call? Okay, so what is it? Okay. Yes, definitely you are right. So it's just that you've not explained to us in our own local route that I want to hear. But let me just help you out in that one. Mute your mic. Uh, so and is as or is addition, because you are either considering the first parameters or the second parameters as an addition. Your and is your multiplication, and what multiplication does is it must consider the two inputs abi multiple input that you are setting in. For example, if you said, let me clear this, if I said uh, a and sorry and b, or let me just use that condition again, if a and b equals 5, return value, s return 0. So what this one will read is, if a and b, a and b means that multiplication of the two, if the multiplication of these two guys equals to 5, it will return that particular value. So AND is putting this particular factor a into consideration and this second factors into consideration. So meaning that if my first one is true and my second one is false, what will be our answer? Let me first hear from someone. Anybody to bail us out? Is going to be false. Thank God that we understand that one. So because we are using an option, it's just as if you are doing, for some of us that we don't understand how we get the false, just think it this way. It's just as if you are saying plus 1 multiplied by minus 1. What will you get? It's minus 1. Take this one as positive, take this one as negative, which is false. You get minus 1. But if you have your answer to be true, let me write it somewhere here. Let's assume we have true multiplied by true, it will definitely be true. What about if you have false multiplied by false? What will be our answer? Eh? False multiplied by false, what will be our answer? Where should we now belong to now? Okay, I think we have votes for people saying true. I have votes for people saying false. So you people that you said true, why do you say it's true? You people that you say it's false, why do you say it's false? Okay, that is the point of view. That is the point of view. Negative times negative will always give us positive. So you people that you say is false, where's your point coming from? I like us to always don't just say because some people say it's positive or some people say it's negative, is what is your own standpoint coming from? Hello, are we still together? Yes, I'm hearing you. Yeah. So let me just quickly address this one now. What I was saying the other time is this. I said the way different feed we approach their stuff differs. Assuming it's a computer that we are dealing with about, your force still multiplied by force will still be force, because what we are using that condition for in that regard is look for this, look for A, look for B. If this guy is false, that as in you are not seeing any value of A in that decision and you are not seeing any value of B which is also false, it will definitely return false, that is not finding anything for the two. But in terms of, if we now come to the mathematician or the engineers and they are using this condition of true or false, in relation to numeric value, which is this plus and minus 1, the answer will also be minus 1, which will be false. I don't, oh, sorry. If the two side is minus 1 and minus 1, it will definitely be plus, because we already know in mathematics that negative times negative will always be positive. So what I'm trying to derive in this place is, depending on field of study, will justify what your decision is moral. But what we are portraying tonight is for us to understand all this um, logic formula, what they really entails, because that is how you now think of what how they process the data that you are bringing up. Because when you start working on analysis recently now, it might be that you don't break it down this way we are breaking down. You just have to press the button. Okay, for example, let's try to check something new. Though this data is not well organized, but let's see. Uh, let's check if so. Can we all see? Probably you can zoom this particular segment that we are, so that you can. So this one is having us. I just want to check some. If it's asking us for logic test, uh, let's check this. Ah, what? Ah, sorry. I think I'm missing something. Mm, examiner. What am I missing? What I want to achieve over here is, if my this particular value is greater than 2, it should return value yes if it's true. But if it's not, it should return no as false. But we are not coming up with that. So what's wrong? I'm coming. Let's check uh, if statement. Okay. Sorry. So I just want to use something as illustration for us to grab this, so that it will not be an abstract term. So why is it not returning? Okay, let's do it this way. Uh, Let me use the condition if this particular guy is greater than, oh, I've seen the reason why it's not breaking. It's greater than 2, comma, it should return yes. Or if it's no, it should return no. So you can see, because this value is greater, what I missed the other time is I did not calculate this particular guy that I wrote here is a string. So and it will be seeing this. Why is it turning error the right time is because it's saying this as if I want to make it a calculation, not putting it in a form of parenthesis to make it a is it that apostrophe sha, to show that is a string. Because what I'm just trying to do here is I want to check if this variable is greater than 2, it should return. That is, just look at zoom their part, zoom this part, so you see what I put inside it very well. If the logic test, what is your logic test? Our if the this particular cell is greater than 2, it should return what? It should return any value that you put here. It's not a matter of yes or no. It should return correct. But if it's not true, it should return what? Nil. So if I press OK, it will return correct for me. But let's assume I change this value to, let me change it to 1.3, and I press OK. My value will turn to nil because it's less than 2, not longer greater than 2. So that is how that logic operation works. And you can use it for complex one, but this one is just a simple parameter. So we'll get that my explanation. Okay, let's fly. So another one that we have over here, apart from logic, I think I've shown some of this one before, is our date. We also have some mathematics formula that we have over here, like our math fig, all those cosine, sine square sine, all those logarithm, blah 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 that we used to use on calculator. So you can quickly run some of them over here, and the same one. We also have other ones like statistics. We have like engineering. So we have different formula that you can relate with there, which you cannot consume of. So that is about different formulas that we have in um, on Excel. So you can play around most of this formula just to get it. And the best way you can quickly work around it is this. When you go to home this way, that is how you can understand them more better. Let me close this. Is this guy I want to bring out back, but I just want to show you how to bring it out. So when you go to home, you can click on this particular drop down and go for more function. So when you click on more function, whenever you select all of them, it will explain to you what each of them is all about here. Like this average now, you can see now, it's telling us that return average arithmetic mean of this argument. That is what this one deal with. And it's showing us that number one, number two, like that, it will take the number into consideration, one to numeric argument for which you want the average. Okay, so this one is showing that for average, you have to select all the number, or you select it in form of a range. Like I showed us the other time, is that you select it from this particular range to this particular range, or you select the number that you want to do it manually yourself. So that is what that one is all about. Do you have any question there before we move? Do you have any question? I guess no. So let's switch and move. How many of you guys are with your system there? Okay, let me now quickly use this one to touch another angle and explain the last assignment I gave to you people. But please and please, when you get home personally, not you are even your home, when you get your system personally, practice different formulas. But I'm just using the one that is very common that we use. For example, now, if I'm dealing with mathematics and particularly all these guys are angles, probably they are angles, and I want to work with my probably I want to find all these trigonometric in mathematics, sine, theta. Let me just use this symbol to represent it. I can use my sine sine of that number, just like calculator, to get my parameters. But We know that if we use sine 60 on calculator is what? Is it not 0.5? Am I right? Let me check calculator because I want to check why this one is returned. I know I'm conversant with all these guys. Sine. I want to be sure it's giving me the right value. Sine in degree. Okay, sine 30 is 0.5. Sine 60 is supposed to be 0.88. Sine 60, 0.88. What about in rad? Sine 60. Okay, so this is why you need to be careful, because that is one thing about analysis. Because by the time I see this value that it returned for me, I know that something is wrong somewhere. Normally on my calculator, whenever I'm using sine 60, because on your calculator we have different variation. For some of us guys that are familiar with calculator, we have you can get your answer in form of a degree, and you can form your answer in form of a rad. This one is radian is used in this circular part. How did I want to explain for people that are latent? I believe people that are in science later supposed to understand what I'm saying. So it's just they have conversion rate from degrees to rad. I cannot be bothered with mathematics over here. So you can make your findings over there. Normally, if you do science 60 on a calculator, you get 0.8, I think 66 something. This one is in degree. But if you change your calculators to rad and you do your science 60, it will be minus 0.3048 that will get over here. So you can check your calculators to confirm down. So what this one is saying invariably is that this my calculation over here is in rad, not in degree. So that's what I want to go and cross check. So that when you are presenting your data, you know what you are presenting. You are not just presenting and be telling us that sine 60 is this particular thing. People will question it, that how come your own sine 60 is that. So you have to make it clear that it's in rad or it's in degree. So that is that to that side. So let me explain the remaining menu bar over here so that you guys will get the concept of all the menu. This one is insert. Under your insert, we have different things that we can insert. Let me zoom this so that we see clearly. For example, I will explain this one later on in subsequent class. Probably um, our second tutor will explain that one to us in our subsequent class because time is already fast spent today. How many duration have we used today? We've used 1 hour 8 minutes, and I promise us 1 hour class. So, but let me see how we can quickly touch this one to round up. Probably in our subsequent class, uh, Madam Tosin will help us to take that explanation because there is more to this that you guys have to know on pivot table. So let me keep pivot table for now. We'll touch it in our subsequent class. So another thing that you can add over here is you have different things that you can relate over here to add in terms of your picture, in terms of your shapes, your icon, tables. So for example, you can add, I'm not adding all these things, you can practice on your system to add some of them, but what I just want to add is, let me come on that sheet. There's different terms of shape that you can relate it. So example, when you want to create a flow chart or you want to create a structure chart that links to each other, probably you are showing um, structure approach of how your information relates to each other. So, so I can use that one to create a chart. Why it disappeared? So that is that one about that. So under insert also we have icon We have 3D model. Another thing that you can quickly relate with that I used to use most often is my smart art. I use it both on Word and also on Excel. It's just to create a fast chart that's already they already have a template. So, for example, some of you guys, some of us, when we are presenting, when we are doing presentation, probably on our PowerPoint, to make it PowerPoint, because there's difference between PowerPoint and Word point. Some people used to present Word points that they will put too much edge on the slide. That even before they read one slide finish, all the time is consumed. But PowerPoint is just that when you just put some few points to structure it. So some of them we used to use all these charts to summarize or simplify our information, and for us to have a high focus for every of our audience to quickly see what information that they want them to see. For example, now maybe in presenting information about six danger. I'm just saying randomly. Don't mind whatever I said. Six dangers in night data analysis. So instead of me writing multiple notes, I can just put this over here. Three three plus danger. Two, okay, three night danger. I'm using that one to explain another thing to some of us here. I can now say, I don't mind whatever I'm putting here. I'm just doing my own to explain to nose, ear, leg, and stomach. So what I want to explain over here, if some people first see this particular of my presentation, I'm diversifying to PowerPoint now. For some of us that we don't understand the concept of where the PowerPoint comes in. My PowerPoint is not to explain to people what it's really fully about. It's for me to give them abstract knowledge of what it is, but I'll be the one to explain what it is for them. So over here, some people may look at this and say, is this person explaining part of the body? And that is his own thinking at first place. I can now come in that what I mean over here in this PowerPoint, 3 plus danger in night data analysis. I I is the problem because when you are running data analysis in the night in a screen that is very bright inside a dark environment, it affects your eyes. I'm explaining why I put eye here. Yeah, how does it affect in that scenario? I'm the one explaining. But that is a diversion. What we are really achieving over here is that we are stating that what different charts can how it can be useful in your whatever work that you are doing. So you can come under insert to get more charts over here. But I used to use it mostly on PowerPoint. So I use it less over here. So another thing that is most crucial for you to relate with over here is your visualization element that we have here. And this particular guy also, it requires to take time to explain it because many people used to mix things up. Many people are only familiar with bar chart and pie chart or probably line chart, and there's more to it than that. Depending on the analysis that you are running, there are different charts that you deal with. For example, let me just create a simple XY. Let me say, let me just call this one X axis. X axis English. Don't mind. Y axis. Is Femi on this call? Okay, let me quickly check people that are raising up the hand so that we are pencil down. Is Daddy raising up his hand? Okay, okay. Okay, Femi is not on this call. Mo ti gba Mọ́ládé ní báyìí. Okay. Let's so let me just create random parameters. It's not it's not something that probably in subsequent class I will be doing. I will try to be coming with specific data to answer. Because one thing about analysis, apart from general data analysis that you run, there are some questions that some statistics students supposed to bring to you, and you should be able to help them to attempt and do, whether on paper or using your softwares. For example, now let's say somebody, okay, I think let me use this. I think I have something here that I can use. Let me quickly open it. Our time is fast spent. 2020. Right. Sorry. Seven. Okay. Let me just screenshot it out here because I don't want us to see the full information that is there. A student come around and gave you this question as an analyst, that if you help them to answer this question, who is that? That you should help them to answer this particular question. Well, if you are seeing this thing for the first time, it might look very technical and hard. Even somebody that is new to data analysis and they say, but let's particularly use this particular question to quickly explain what I actually want to do now. So this is the particular question that was given to me. The person was actually using any statistical tools, which is Excel, obtain best fit cut, best cut fit model for this data given. We might not be able to attempt this now, but I will just explain briefly. In our subsequent class, I will explain what this one means. This is under inferential analysis, particularly on regression. Some of you that are already familiar with uh, data analysis or Excel, you understand this one better. Under regression analysis, we also used to plot regression curve. And when we are talking of best cost fit, we are talking in terms of which type of curve fit most into this decision, because what our regression is doing is predictive. We are predicting based on relationship between two or more parameters. So in the sense of that one, if my some of my value is tending to be significant, statistic significance, and is showing a value that is turning to the fact that is predicting it to be, I'm now checking, is it a straight line, linear graph, or exponential graph, or we have a lot of them, polynomial graph is best fit to it. But don't bore yourself with it. This is more of statistics. uh Probably in advanced level you guys will get there, but let me just quickly use this question to explain this. So let me input all these parameters. Let's this, my time will be on my x-axis, and my hv is just eating value, yeah. So it's just as though we are eating the parameters, because okay, hardness value, sorry, we are checking hardness of value. This is a material science question. I think that is only that we can relate on this score. So we are checking hardness value of the material over a certain period of time. So that is what this question is all about. But we're actually using uh, statistics software to do it. It's more or less like simulation. For some of us that we know what simulation is. This 10, this 15, this 30, this 45, this 60, this 75, this 90, and this 100. And we have our HB hardness to be 40, to be 38, to be 36 by 32, this 26, this 25.5, this 25, the remaining one are 25. So these are my parameters that I want to use. So what the now say we should do here is what? Obtain regression analysis showing R square, multiple R significance, and obtain language model. You don't need all this one. Just let me just use this one to leave. So what brought me to this one in the first place is the what I want to explain over here, which is under insert, which is our data visualization. So for this type of a chart, the first thing I used to pick whenever I want to deal with visualization is to go into my recommended chart, because that's one thing that Excel used to give us option to. They will recommend different charts that you can use for yourself, based on the data that you are giving. Because this data that I'm giving have a scattered information, is recommending a scattered graph over here, and this is another bar chart which is showing column to represent it. If I'm working in terms of a trend, I'm showing the trend. I want to show the trend of something within the period of a year, probably between 1990 to 2025. What is the trend of how many people are? What is the statistics of people in Nigeria? So, and most time you'll have seen some of those gathering and searching things online that is showing the trend of probably increasing trend that is going up. So I can use this something like this. But for the purpose of what I want to do over here, it states in this key statement that say best curve fit. I need something like this. So this curve that is fitting up with this scatter diagram. So I can press OK and bring and come up with this. So let me configure this so that you guys will understand better. Let me put parameters to. I will explain all this thing probably in subsequent class, but let me just use this one. I'm just adding axis to this, so that I'll be able to label it. So this is our HV now. So this is our time. This is our time. Okay. I believe we can all see that which I'm doing there. So this one for me to now this is the data visualization of how this curve look like. Instead of a student to go on graph sheet, plot x against y, and tracing all these parameters by different scale that they set, I can quickly get a perfect one on Excel in form of this, like you see it over here. So, but for the aspect of the question that the person I want to ask, this one is just a bonus for anybody that may come across this question, or probably your siblings might brought this question to you. So, I may now actually click on this particular uh, graph and go under my chart design where I'm adding elements. If you are using window, you will see a plus icon here that will lead you to this one that I'm looking for, mark here. So I can go to my trend line, and here at first, but naturally seeing this curve the way it is over here, you can see this curve here. I know it cannot be linear that will be best fit for this thing. It will be definitely the exponential or other trend line. But at first, I'll first apply linear for this particular one. And under my Excel here, Excel is sweet, but it's broad. It depends on what you are looking for inside Excel. So I can double tap on this my trend line that I just add. You can see different trend line that I have over here. You can zoom to this side. We have exponential, we have logarithm, we have polynomial. I will ask one question here from you guys. Though. See the way I'm swapping these particular guys, and you tell me the one that is best fit with that curve. So, but what I'm looking for over here, I can check for my equation of that line, and also my R value, which is the R square I say they should look for. This R square. So this is the answer to the question that student brought to me. And with a click on computer, I can quickly get the answer instead of them doing manual calculation on books. So I have the polynomial here, I have linear. So all of you look at this particular thing. I won't just want to ask a question. It's just a brainstorming. I just want to hear ideas. You might not know the right answer, but let me just hear your opinion. This is a this is our scatter point that we are dealing with over here. And when we are looking for a best fit curve that we can use to predict the equation of this different scatter one, we first consider linear one. And you can see the linear one. Linear one is cutting across different data over here, but it's not yet balanced because some data are closer to this and some are very far from that line. But when I'm using our polynomial, you can see the way it looks like. Let me use one more. Let me use exponential. This exponential. So out of these three, exponential, linear, and polynomial, which one is best fit? for this curve based on English best fit for this is the curve, this is the curve that we plot. So which one is best fit for that curve? Anybody that want to answer us? I'm not um calling in, but if you just want to answer us, you can raise up your hand. Okay, sir. Okay, somebody say polynomial. That didn't go. Polynomial. So, reality. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. I think the second person that talk apart from that is who? I think that is our is that Abosede? Hello. Who talk apart from daddy? And that person did not know themselves again. Who is the person that responds to the question apart from daddy? Ó ti lọ nìyẹn o. Okay. So the perfect answers to this is what they just gave to us, which is polynomial. Polynomial in the sense that the perfect one that follow the trend of the curve that we already have in existence is that polynomial. So we can see from here is very close with every of our various point of consideration. But if it's linear, linear from here, these particular guys are very far from our linear, and some of them are very close to it. That is not giving the perfect curve to it. But in summary, I will explain this regression when we get to that part of regression. But I'm just using this one to attempt question. So this question that they gave to this guy, the fastest way to do is just by using your Excel. Quickly plot your graph because they expect them to plot the graph to show a relationship showing relationship between hardness value and soaking value, which is this that you've shown. And they say you should find the regression R square, which is what we find over here. And like that one, so we are done with the this multiple R, you can get that one from this your R value. That will be square root of this your R value. So you get your multiple R. And with that one, you are done with this question. For I don't want to bore us in this particular one that they say language model for the regression analysis is same thing as this particular formula. This y equals to that is up here. So, but we are not in simulation class, we are in data analysis class. So that is how you can use various. What brought us to this end is using uh, uh, various graph, various visualization to get what are you plugging to get different form of how to view your data. So that is that one about um, that area of visualization. So you can check different form of visualization that you have over here. So if I don't want to plot this particular guy directly from recommendation, I can as well go under scatter directly and select it myself. This is a particular one. You can select the line graph depending on what you want. You can check all of them. We have tree map. This tree map, I majorly used to use it under thematic analysis. For some of us that will go into qualitative analysis. Thematic analysis is just for people that gather the surveys data on based on those people that will come to you that they will interview you and collect oral from you. So for them to analyze those data and come up with a concept from it. So they analyze based on keywords that you are using. So that is where I used to majorly use all these tree map very well. Just to show proportion and duration of each of keywords that people are using in their conversation level. So we have bar chart over here, which can be column, it can be stack, it can be like that that you can utilize. So that is that. And we have equations just as you have it on the word and symbols over here that you can relate with. Let's stop here. I've spent much of your time tonight. Let me give room for questions before I ask my own question. Do you have anybody with question tonight? I'm still looking for the person that respond. Apart from that deal, Asha know is a female. Did the person left the call? Who is the me? Or is the name I need? Okay, Victoria. Which Victoria? Victoria what? Okay. So, do you have any question based on what we treated tonight? Do you have any question based on what we treat tonight? Before we, okay, I think I'm seeing some answers. Daddy additional. Okay, okay. Oh, I will. Okay, I will release the recorded version. I think our recording is still auditing now, so we should be able to get the recorded version of the class. Yes, yes, sir. Odupeka, are you raising up your hand? Okay, let me get your question straight again. Okay, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Let me think if I get you right. Your question is like this. Let's assume we have some value over here again. Let me just say scope. And I already plotted a graph of this. Probably let me say this. And I still have to plot another one, which is this H, A, and this guy. Abi. Is that your question? Hello. This is the column. And okay, H and this G. What you do? Eh? H and J. And you select this guy and use your control. With your control, you can select the other one, and you can now use that one to. What you have to do is select the first row, so far there's gap between them, and you use your control. You hold your control down and you select the other data. So with that one, you will be able to select the graph specific to that one. So that is how that one is. Do you get? Yeah. Do you have any other question? Is that it? You have a question? Yeah. Okay. Abosede, Madam Abosede, what's your question? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Is there any? Is there anyone? That thing is skipping and some sound is coming from me. I'm not hearing your own voice clearly. Okay, you say internship opportunity if I get it right. Yeah, there's a lot of internship opportunity that one can maximize. I think Madam Tosin is still on the call. She's into some. I think probably she will take one time to because I network different things. So most time I don't. But there's a lot out there that one can maximize. But I think one of the probably in our subsequent class we'll arrange for her to talk about that one. So there's a lot. Okay, Tosin is already raising up her hand. Let's hear from you, Madam Tosin. Good evening. So, the, okay. So there's okay. I think I'm hearing some. Is somebody talking? Okay, I believe Sister Abosede, you've gotten that one right. So there's a lot of them, but what I will just ask you guys to do is on your LinkedIn, narrow yourself to whatever you are developing yourself into. So that by the time they will be bringing options to you, they will be bringing options related to what you are learning to you. So you can do that one on your LinkedIn to narrow option of what you are doing. Probably if it's data analysis you want to focus on, narrow it down to data analysis. So that any options, friends, option, job opportunity they are bringing to you will be tailored to data analysis. Victor Tolulokpe, good evening. Okay. For every project comes with its own uniqueness. Every project comes with its own uniqueness. So depending on the problem you are approaching in that question, be that project will justify what approach are you using. For example, now if I open my SPSS for you or even Excel, there are different analysis that you can run. Let me show us on Excel. I think my screen is still on Excel alone. Let me go to data analysis. Over here you can see different type of them that is there, and it's more than this one. It's only this one that is available based on the option of what I'm using in Excel. You can see an over single factor and over two way. we have correlation, we have covariance, we have test, descriptive analysis, and statistics. But most of us under the descriptive, we have been touching them based on what we did over here. We have exponential splitting, we have Fourier analysis, we have histogram, we have random, we have regression, we have t-test. So there's a lot that analysis that can be done. But depending on the project or the problem statement of that research will justify which approach are you now using out of this. Somebody, okay, for example, now I was doing analysis for somebody that I am meant to submit his work tonight or tomorrow morning. The normal convention correlation analysis that people used to do is Pearson correlation analysis. But the supervisor of that person said you should not use Pearson correlation analysis. You should use okay, let me bring this one out so that you guys will get what I'm saying. So I think this one is only having PSN, but let me just see randomly if this can work for it. Colombia, post group living, main worksheet. Okay, this one is just showing PSN correction analysis. For the Excel, we have three different correction analysis that we can have. Let me just show us briefly so that it will not be talking abstract. So that we'll use that one to quickly explain that question. But the summary of that question is just the nature of the problem we are addressing or the nature of the question will justify which approach you are using for your analysis. It's not a matter of probably there's a one way to it. No, there are diverse way. But the problem or whatever you are addressing will justify your approach to your analysis. So let me quickly use this one to show. Let me just open one book I did recently. Let me open this particular guide. Yeah. Mhm. So over here in analysis, you can see a lot of them. We have descriptive, we have uh, different terms of them that you can relate with. And if I should go under that correlation for you that I just mentioned right now, sorry, I did not open a data sheet. Let me just open one. Don't worry, we also one of the day get to this SPSS to explain, but I just want to quickly use it to explain something to us over on this call. Um, okay, so if I go under my analysis and I go for my correlation, I just want to show us. Okay, this is what I want to show us. You can zoom to it. The general one that people used to use, that we used to discuss mainly, is this Pearson correlation. But the person, another one that people use is Spearman correlation analysis. But the project supervisor is specific that the person should use this Kendall Taobi correlation analysis. Though most of these things are very close gap, it's just a little variation that it has little values difference. So if you use Pearson, it will definitely be entirely different from Kent Dot Tau B or whatever the case be. This even be the first time I'm using that Kent Tau B. The most thing that I used to use before is Pearson and Spearman. So what I'm trying to bring this one up is that the nature of the work and the speculation of the project will justify which approach you'll be using. Did I answer that question? Yeah. I think Ms. Bossa is also raising up now. I'm not the one delaying you people with your question. So Ms. Tosin, Bossa delays you. Abi your hand eventually comes off the table. I'm supposed to use cane for you people say that you are already in last year class that you did not do the assignment because I've given you that assignment in last year's class that you guys have done before. Any assignment that I give to you, apart except reading, you are meant to submit. Any assignment that the essence of submission is for us to be able to see how everybody is faring. I mean, in terms of progress, are you guys getting the explanation so that we know what we have to put in place for you to get it? Because the cocoa of it is you can't waste your data and your time, and you're not getting what we are doing. So, and that's why I said if anybody is not getting whatever we are doing in class, and you are feeling shy to ask inside the class, do well to reach my DM. I will not answer you immediately, but I will definitely answer you at the best time. So do well to reach out in the sense that we'll be able to solve that particular problem and you guys will get it. There's no point of you wasting that how costly data is and you wasting your own precious time. At least on this corner we are we are 1 hour 46 minutes gone and you now say you did not gain something substantial from the class. It doesn't worth it. So any assignment that we are giving is just for you to be able to have something to ruminate over before the next class and for us to see the approach of how you understood what we gave you, what we taught in class, and how you personally approach your own assignments. And through that one, we can provide you with corrections and probably if we need to address it in class, we also address it in class. I think I answered that a bit. Do you have any other question? Where should we be submitting the assignment? Any assignment that we are giving to you, at least be submitting to amenop12 at gmail.com. Amenop12 at gmail.com. Probably I will send you on the group. That is the mail I used to use to access any training courses. Amenop12 at gmail.com. And if you have a problem with your Gmail that you can't access it, you can also send it to my WhatsApp. But the processing time of my WhatsApp is always late. That's why because I'm more closer to Gmail than WhatsApp. Because I used to run away from WhatsApp because of clients that would be expecting their work. Okay, Peter Adewale. I think you guys are okay. You guys that you just joined. I more of what I gave you is that you should read and you should study your Excel sheet, right? Yeah. So you don't need to submit anything. You just read whatever we say you should read and understand. Probably in subsequent class, I may just come randomly and come some of you randomly present what you read so that we know you read. But people that are already in that they call themselves intermediate, I give them assignment that is submittable. So that's the better one. Okwade gift. Which class do you belong to? Is it the new individual abi àwọn intermediate? Okay, I thought yeah, àwọn intermediate I want to show them CBE. So because they are in last year class. So it's battle. Let me quickly bring the questions. So let me explain bit by bit what I say people should do. These people in intermediate class, they know what they're supposed to do. Especially that Miss Abosede, as she did not do the assignment. Um, where is this data? Where is your group again? 2025. Let's take the analysis. I'm coming. Just look at the edges of your screen here. So that's why I put the. I don't want to show my information on my WhatsApp. So that's why I'm showing only this part here. So what I say beginners should do over here is that you should explore based on interface of Excel that you say we should look into. You should check these documents and read about different interface. What I think what they have inside that blog is they explain different stuff on your interviews on Excel, and they explain some of these things that even if you have done this before, some of the things I'm talking about today will not be new to you because they've explained some of these formulas and how it works on Excel. So that's essence why I say you should read that particular one. And I said I will drop a recorded video for us, but you guys did not remind me, and I'm also somewhat busy. But thank God that we've done that today, and we'll release that one out for every one of us to watch. So this particular one, I want everyone to read about it. It's just about Excel, so it's just like closer to this, but a more is having more information. That's why I said both groups should relate with it and do it. And you guys that are beginner, that's just simple what I say you should do. You don't have uh, everything to relate with over there. So, but you guys are in intermediate class. I call self intermediate because I'm also a beginner. Sha. Anyway. And what I say you should do is go on data bank. I've already give you the link. Select someone that have submitted the assignment. You go and look on what you want to do. I did not say you should select for one country in 4 places. I said select 50 countries because I want you to have voluminous data. Select 50 countries. At least in global world we have more than 160 something countries. So out of those 160, select 50 countries, and under your series select different 4 variable. The person that submit the assignment, Mr. Fikayo, the 4 variable that you select is correct, just that you did not select 50 countries. Export the data and import it into your Excel. How do you import into Excel? For people that does not know how to import into Excel, go to your inputs, go to problem, and when you even download it, why am I even saying input? I'm not an SPS, I've forgotten. When you download from that particular platform, they shall want me to do this thing. But let me just give them in so that when they do not submit, I will know where to criticize them. So let's assume I'm accessing the link over here. This is a platform. It's just a word data bank where we have um, free data that we can relate with. So I'm not selecting 50 countries now, but let me just select 10 countries. Is it up to 10 already? Okay, you know the number of countries that you select from here. So 10 countries, can close that one. Under my series, I said you should select 4. Let me just say I want to select something on GDP related. Let me search it GDP. So let me select carbon intensity. Okay, agric and forestry. I need growth, GDP growth, GDP per capita. Let me just select any other random 4. That is before I select. And select your year time interval. You can close this also. Select your, you know that you've selected 4 from here. Select your time interval. I will select the last 20 years for me to have more data. So I can click on apply. So it will show me all my data here. This is just like a secondary data that is already on the database that you can use for your work. If you check over here, this particular 2 variable that I select only have data for 2021, 2022, 2023, and they are not having data for other years. It's only the first 2 that is having data. I may not go with these 2 variable again because it will give me a biased result when if I want to analyze it. So I have to remove these 2 guys and go for something else. I think that is the household and import. That's why I'm not even. I want something. Let's go for population, and if you like, you return the same thing that I've already given to you to me. I will kuku know. So population. Let's go for P. Um, I think it should be under total population. Why is this so hard okay, population. So let me just search for. If I select population within here, okay. Let me know for male separately and female separately. It's already five, but let me just make it that way. So you can see that this one I have my data complete for the last 20 years. So I can hopefully relate with it. So I can come under this export option. You can export to Excel or CSV. They are similar, but what catenates them is what differs. So you see the same way to open on Excel. Uh, so let me download this as Excel. So I'm just using this one to explain the impact, the aspect of import that I mentioned the other time. Can we just hear me? Okay, sorry. I thought someone called. Let me quickly respond to this person. Because the person was calling me. So so your data will have downloaded this particular one, so you can quickly open that same. This is the data here. This is the data here. So you can see how the data comes in. So you can see the year. The year is in form of a year and the serial code. So these are raw data which have to be worked on. So and you don't forget when I was explaining the other time, I explained stages in the data analysis. I said sourcing for your data, which with what we just done now. I said you clean your data, which is what you have to do here, because you can't send this particular data and tell me that you've gotten one data somewhere. You have to clean this data that is not available for 20 this particular 2024, you clean them out, and other one that is not having value here, you clean them out, and you do your this particular information. You cannot do whatever next I ask you to do as regards it. So that is about that one. Do you have any other question? I have one emergency to quickly submit. So do you have any other person with any question? Okay, Fikayo, let's hear your question. Fikayo, probably your hand is mistakenly upward. Who else is raising up his hand? I think nobody. Do you have any question before we call it a day? Okay, if there is no any question, so thank you for joining tonight's class. I will add more things to read to what I have sent to you guys, and that will be our assignment before next class. So, with that, is a goodbye from my end. Thank you for joining tonight's class. See you in next class. You are welcome.